This is Daddy Show. Step off.
It's time for the main event.
Hey, what is up? Welcome back to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I'm yelling at you, I feel like. I got to work on this volume. Welcome back, kids. It's Tom Clark's Main Event. It's your boy, holler at your boy. Tom Clark's Main Event is live and in living color, Jack. I'm cold. Dude, I am freezing to death. I'm this close. I'm glad that worked. I'm this close to setting myself on fire just so as I can warm up. You have no idea. It is so cold. It's like 9 degrees outside. Oh, it's summer, Tom. Summer's coming. Really? Really? No, it's not. You live in North Carolina. Summer ain't ever coming, okay? Winter forever. They're going to find me out there frozen in the parking lot because I can't stand anymore. Or burned to death. Why? Because I had to get warm. You understand? Struggle is real. Do they still say the struggle is real? I think that's kind of faded out, hasn't it? Let's get the banner banning. I used to say the ticker ticking. I'm changing it up. I know everybody's happy with this WrestleMania background behind my head because everybody loved this, man. Last week, this thing got over more than I did. Everyone's like, oh, it's just so good. It's all right. I'm not complaining. Before I talk to any of you, I want you to smash that like button. Smash the living crap out of it and share this on your feed, kids. I'd very much appreciate it. It means loads to me. I got so much going on today, it's not even funny. By the way, happy Friday. Hope you're all having a great day, having a great week. We're going to say a few hellos, then I got a guest. She's in the queue. She's ready. She's making faces and flipping me off. It's not pretty. She's like, put me on the screen. You don't know if that's true or not, do you? None of you do. I'm just trying to pop her. I wonder if it's working. I'm looking at her. It's working, see? All right. Sugar Shane to the table. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Guten Tag, Sandy in Germany. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Carlos Martinez. What's going on? Chris with a K. What's up, Ray all day? I was just telling my guest how you bought my dinner in New York City. New York City. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you, my friend. Ooh, I'm about got choked up. Eric Jackson in the house. What's going on? Man, James, why won't you just show up? If I know you're going to be here, I'd have sent you an invite. I sent Phil one like last minute, but I don't know that he's going to be able to show up. E, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Someone said, yeah, I know. Can you hear the reverb? Yeah, it's the right. I'm in the office and there's no carpet in this room. And I've got a window that you can hear traffic noises. There's an office next door that's carpeted and the walls are like, it's like a cave. I think I'm going to put everything in there because this gets to be nuts. Gets to be nuts. Chris says 75 here in Atlanta. Chris, the heck with you. Don't talk to me anymore. Talking about how warm it is. My God. James, I'm down, brother. If you are, come on board, man. Let's do this next week, dude. Rendell, good to see you, man. Hadn't seen you in a while. How have you been? Everybody, please like this post, this show. Smash the like button. What more do you want from me? It's been a long week. My brain's so fried, you have no idea. All right, I've got a guest. I'm going to bring her on. But first, I'm going to do an introduction. This is somebody that back in the day used to call double A. That was before she got married. Now I guess it's AT. I don't know if I like that too much. She'll always be double A to me. Back in the day, we both wrote for Bleacher Report at the same time. It's not kind of. That's how we met. And she's a big Undertaker fan. She's a pro wrestling fan. And I want everyone here to please welcome her to the show. By the way, if you listen to the 6M podcast, you've heard her before. We did the Friends episode together. By the way, Tom Clark's 6M podcast is available on all major platforms. All right? Go check it out. It would mean loads to me. It's a great show. Ask anybody that's heard it. They'll tell you. Movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. What more can you get? What more can you ask for? It's awesome. Go check it out. My God in heaven. Don't be weird. Don't make it weird. Go check it out. All right, I'm done. She is getting impatient. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show. First time ever here on the main event. Let's try it again. First time ever at the show. Miss Ashley Tate. That's what I get for going too fast. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was not getting impatient at all, but I am good. Thanks for having me.
She's lying. She was throwing obscene gestures the whole time. Don't listen to her. Uh, thanks for coming on. I had to rip your arm off to show up. No, I didn't.
I know, right?
No, it's okay. It's okay. By the way, Ash, these are the kids. Kids, this is Ash. Please make her feel welcome. That would be nice. Yeah, so I wanted to have you on for a couple of reasons because I've always wanted to have you on the main event because I was going to call you a smart wrestling fan, but that has weird definitions. It's like cliche. You know what I mean? I don't mean it that way. I mean that you're an intelligent pro wrestling fan. How about that? So we'll go with that. And plus, you were at WrestleMania, a little show. It was like this big. Happened a couple days ago. I don't know what it was now, but you were there for one of those days. And I wanted to get like your firsthand experience. So tell everybody out there, what day did you go to, and tell us about the vibe, and just give me like the overview of what you did while you were there.
Okay, so I went to night 2 on Sunday, and the vibe was like just crazy. I mean, anytime you go to a live wrestling event, I feel like the atmosphere is always really fun. Everyone's amped, and like you're happy to be around like-minded people who are excited about wrestling. Because I don't know about you guys, but like in my personal life, I'm like the only one. So it's nice to be around people who like are excited. But I guess because it was WrestleMania, it was just like on a whole other level. I mean, first of all, there's 81,000 people there. So let's start with that. And then SoFi, I had never been there before. It was huge. Like, so it was just really cool. I think I would have had fun just going and not even watching any matches. Like, I just got in the door and I was just excited. But I feel like Saturday had the better card. I'll throw that out there now. But because I got to be there, like, I obviously enjoyed Sunday because I got to see it live versus watching it at home. So it was weird when the crowd was quiet because there were so many people there. There were during the I think it was the showcase, the Divas showcase match. It's like Natalya, Shotzi, like all those. You could hear a pin drop for most of that match. Okay. So that was really weird having it be so quiet. And then like when someone would make a noise, it like almost startled you. But then like during some of the other matches, it was like deafening. It was so loud. So that was kind of weird. But it was awesome. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, you mentioned the crowd noise. A lot of times that doesn't translate to TV because like you're watching it on TV and you're like, well, this is a dead crowd. And then you talk to people who are there and it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We were making all kinds of noise. So sometimes it doesn't translate, but I think it did for this. And it's weird because you've been in pro wrestling audiences before, right? So like, you know, when it tends to get loud, everybody tends to get loud. Then when it quiets down, everybody quiets down. It's kind of like the wave. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of does the same thing. So what was the loudest pop of the night? What was the loudest moment that you can remember?
I think it would have to, honestly, I think it would be a toss-up between Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther's match, and Roman Reigns and Cody when Roman retained. Spoiler alert, sorry if you haven't seen it yet. So the crowd was insane during the end of the Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Gunther match, and then pretty much the entire Roman Reigns Cody match. Like, it was a very hot crowd.
Nice. Yeah, it was. And I've seen the people talk about, well, night one was better than night two. I get it. There was a lot of, and plus, how do you top the first night? It's the first night the crowd's there, everybody's electric, everybody's ready to go. Great matches on Saturday, and then Sunday, really good matches as well. I mean, to see that McIntyre and Sheamus Intercontinental three-way, my God, that must have been nuts. And
it was. I honestly, personally, going into that match was not that excited for it. Like, I was like, oh, it's cool, it's gonna be a good match, but it wasn't like the top match I was looking forward to see. But they won me over. Like, it was a great match, and it was awesome. So like the crowd really got into it, and I enjoyed it.
You know what's funny too, Ash, is that it wasn't that long ago, kids, if you recall, it wasn't that long ago that people were questioning Sheamus's toughness.
Right.
I remember writing the columns where I was questioning the people questioning it, where it's like, oh, he's not really a tough guy. It's character, blah, blah, blah. he's not XYZ. Fast forward years later, and now I would bet you if you poll the audience, they would say he's one of the toughest guys in that locker room. And to be fair, he always has been, but the optics of it for some reason didn't translate or whatever, for whatever weird reason that they didn't. But I love that he got the pop that he got. I love the crowd loves him because, dude, he works hard.
Yeah.
And he's won everything there for sure. I got to get your opinion on McIntyre. The word on the street is that his contract with that company is coming up. Do you see him leaving? Do you think he's headed to AEW as Drew Galloway, or do you think he sticks around?
I mean, I definitely could see him leaving just because I don't feel like they've always like utilized him to the best of like, I mean, there's only so many slots and so many stories that can be told at one time, right? And like I don't feel personally he's ever fell into the right story. And I feel like I would be frustrated with that if I were him. So if I had the option to like, I don't know, see what else is out there, I might take it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because I don't feel like he's gotten the, like, I don't think he's made it as far as he could have made it. And I don't know if that's him or WWE or whoever, whatever the reason he's been held back, but I feel like he has been.
And I think he's got, I don't want to say unfortunate because this guy is a gifted athlete. There's nothing unfortunate about him.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for him, I think, depends on what he would say, you know, he was the champion during the empty arena era, right? It was right about that time that things were happening for him. And I'm like, I'm happy for the guy, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I wish I wish it had happened differently. James Love Kids, by the way, and Ash, in case you don't know, James is from the crew at the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. They are across the pond in England. And as we know, All In, as Tony Khan announced just this week, is going to be in London this year. So James, I mean, Ash, this may be a case. I mean, what's the possibility, even if it's this small, that he and Drew have had a very small phone call, very quick text message, and then not that he would move the event to London just for that, of course,
right?
But the pop for Drew, and oh my God, it would be nuts. You know what I mean? Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, and he got a really big pop at WrestleMania. I saw him at SmackDown a couple weeks ago when they were in Vegas. I mean, the crowd seems to love him. I've just always been kind of underwhelmed by the storylines that he's been put into. Not by him as a performer, like I think he's great, but by the storylines. And I think like whereas Sheamus was more like able to kind of has ridden it out, right? Like when he first came in, he was pretty big, and then he was like going up against Cena, and like he was billed to be like this like larger than life, you know, Sheamus, and then he kind of took a back seat for a while and didn't really do a whole lot. And I guess he was okay with that because he's stuck with WWE this whole time. So I guess the question would be like, you know, would Drew get tired of that kind of like up and down?
That's a good question. James says story time with Drew killed his momentum. I could sense at the time when they were really, really behind him, the crowd was starting to get sour because, and you know this too, people love the baby face that much, but if you give them too much of him, it becomes, all right, I'm getting tired of this, I'm sick of this, and then they start to turn. And I think that's the case in any company. I think it's what happened with Cody in AEW. It happened with Sheamus in the past. In WWE, it happens. And yeah. I mean, you can count on one hand the number of guys it doesn't happen to. Steamboat, and even Steamboat at one point was getting booed against Flair. Let's don't forget. But Steamboat, Austin, maybe when he was Daniel Bryan in WWE, but like it's tough to go that route. Let me ask you this, and we're not going to keep you the full hour, I know, so I'm not going to keep you all day here, but I have to ask you this. Two things, two-parter. What was the moment of the night you went to WrestleMania, night 2, that you were, maybe you didn't expect much, but you were surprised at how good it was? And I think I already know the answer. And number 2, what were you expecting to be really, really good, but you personally were kind of let down by it?
I've always like rallied for the divas, right? Because you know I'm a woman, so and I've enjoyed women's wrestling. So I kind of had higher hopes for Asuka and Bianca Belair's match. I just when I rewatched the pay-per-view on Peacock, like it came across like fine, but live, like the crowd just wasn't into it. It seemed kind of, they just both seemed kind of stiff. So I was kind of underwhelmed when I was kind of looking forward to it. And I agree with whoever just said Rhea and Charlotte match was amazing, because it was. And then I really enjoyed the Edge and Finn Balor's match. I thought they did a really good job when he got his head busted open. Like Edge, at least from what we could see there live, didn't really break character. He didn't look concerned. He looked more like menacing and like was still looking for things to toss into the ring to continue the match or whatever, which I thought was like the best case scenario they could do to try to balance the fact that they were stapling his head back together so he could finish the match. So, I mean, I knew I was excited for that match because like I love Edge and like that's my guy, but Hell in a Cell matches have never really been my thing or been my favorite, like especially live, because like there's this giant cage so you can't really see what's happening. I don't know. So I was like, this match is just going to be like whatever, but I actually really enjoyed it. The crowd was super into it. So I actually let me backtrack. I'm sorry. I think the match I had the least high hopes for was Brock Lesnar's match. Because I mean, I don't like Brock Lesnar, so I was already just like, meh. And it was just like, I feel like we've seen this so many times before. WWE gets like this giant who's like freakishly big, and then they put him up against, you know, Rey Mysterio, and then like someone who's a little bit bigger, and like I just felt like, what was the point? I mean, I was happy that I wasn't getting Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar shoved down my throat for the 50 millionth time, but you know, I was just like, but I actually, you know, it wasn't bad. Like seeing someone slam Brock Lesnar around like that kind of gave me joy. So I enjoyed it more than I thought that I would. But I still think Saturday was better. Rhea's match I thought was amazing. Dominic and Rey's match, I really enjoyed. I feel like Dominic Mysterio, like I'm probably getting some hate for this, but I feel like he's really like coming into his persona, his heel persona. Like when he first was put with the Judgment Day, I felt like it seemed so forced. He was so awkward. It was just like, okay, like I get it, but like I really feel like they all four have really good chemistry together now, and I feel like it's elevated him, like it's helped him out a lot seeing him with them versus seeing him with his dad when like he first was like they were like together as like tag team. So I actually really enjoyed their match on Saturday as well. And then obviously seeing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win was, I mean, I wasn't there, but it was just exciting, right? Like just seeing somebody, even though I love the Usos, like I do, but I was ready to see like them have their belts taken. So
You talked a lot about Dom. I love that you gave Dom some props. Kid catches a lot of flack.
yeah.
Can we acknowledge just how much this company wanted Ray to not sign with AEW? That they essentially, don't quote me, kids, I'm just guessing, that they essentially told him, "You stay here, we'll make your kid a star, pal." Because I mean, it's mind blowing to me. Not that Dom didn't deserve a break, but oh my God, the break this kid got. Like, I mean, that had to have been the reason he stayed, because Ray could have wrote his own check at any company in the world, and whatever money he asked for, he would have got it.
Right.
But like, there must have been. It wasn't just money. I'm telling you, I firmly believe that part of the deal was, look, you stay here, and we'll do right by your kid. I mean, man, it's crazy.
Well, and I do think like I think he has really come into his own, like, and like he has his own like kind of like swagger now when he comes out to the ring. He's more comfortable on the mic and stuff like that. And so I feel like I prefer him better. Yes, Snoop Dogg was awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry, I'm just getting jumping off of Don back to Snoop Dogg.
Fine.
So when I probably fangirled way harder than I should have when Shane McMahon came out, right? Because like
really,
Attitude Era, like I just, you know, I have fond memories of watching Shane, you know, wrestle and stuff. So he comes out, he does that, and I remember thinking, and I feel bad, like, because like I'm not like super young myself, but like he comes out and he's going for it, and I'm like, wow. I was like, I didn't know he was still like able to move like that, and then he does that jump and then gets hurt, and I was like, oh, okay. And but I just like I feel like Snoop deserves all the like props for like being so quick and doing like that little people's elbow, and like they threw that together so quick, like it seemed effort like seamless, like people weren't even sure if he was really hurt or not. So
Yeah, they apparently called an audible at ringside, and I guess told him, I don't know if they just said people's elbow, just get in there. I don't know, but like that was so good. Snoop does not get enough credit. This guy is multifaceted. I mean, you can put him in any form of entertainment and he would excel. Like it's
well,
crazy.
so the other crazy thing, and I don't remember if I told you this or not. So I went by myself, right, to WrestleMania, but a friend of mine who I went to beauty school with back in the day happened to be there. So we were trying to find a time to like meet up to say hi during the thing. And I kept telling her, like, I'm like, she kind of got dragged there, you know, with her boyfriend, but I was like, I'm here to watch the matches. So, you know, trying to get me to come see you in the middle of Edge's match is not going to happen. So between the Edge match and then the main event, like I rushed out to try to see her, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to make it back to my seat. But that's fine. So I just kind of was standing like where I could still see what was happening. And there was a lot of commotion to my left, and I look over and it's Logan Paul. He's sitting in like this kind of like VIP section with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Like they're all three sitting together watching WrestleMania. So there's the whole thing, like Roman and Cody are like going at it, and the crowd is like, about that. But then there's probably a good like couple hundred fans who are right here next to where Seth Rollins is, going nuts about the fact that he's right there and that Logan Paul's there, and they're singing Seth's song. So like you've got like the chants for Cody, the chants for Roman, and then you've got like 300 people singing Seth Rollins' theme song over to the left. So it was kind of nuts. So that was kind of cool, but like also it was like you just like had this match yesterday and now you're sitting together at WrestleMania. Like what? But I mean, the fans didn't seem to. Seth Rollins fans did not seem to care. They were just excited that I guess they got to be that close to Seth Rollins. So
Well, I mean, kayfabe's dead, kids. Kayfabe's way dead. And Seth has been, I'll use the word, I don't care. I'll use the word guilty. I don't care. Seth's been guilty of this in the past. I remember this is years ago. It's going back a ways, but I remember Twitter posts when Jericho was still there, and it was him and I think Jericho and Sami Zayn, and they all three took this picture together, like the night after or the same night, And I'm like, why would you post this? Just send it to your bros. But why in the world would you put this on Twitter? It's I don't get it. I don't get it. You mentioned Cody, so
yeah.
$1 million question time. All right, because I got to know everybody and their brother lost their minds when Cody didn't win the championship. I'm not going to say a word about it because I want to hear what you think. What is your take on this? Being a level-headed, intelligent pro wrestling fan that you are.
So I was one of those. I didn't lose my mind, but I was like, come on. Like I feel like anyone could go up against Roman at this point and I would get behind them just because I'm tired of him having the belts. He doesn't wrestle that often. He doesn't even show up on TV that often. So like I just kind of feel like at this point, like, are you just keeping it on him so he can reach his 1,000 days? Like what? Like, I don't know. So I was disappointed. I'm sure there's more coming like in the story to like where maybe I'll be like, all right, I see it now. But in the moment I was just like, ugh. And then on Raw, you know, when Cody got laid out by Lesnar, I'm just like, anytime I have to see Brock Lesnar, I get annoyed. And I'm just like, you know, I didn't get the point. I'm hoping next week it'll make more sense of what was that? Like, why did he go so hard on Cody? Like, I don't know. But I'm just like, I was really surprised. Like, I feel like Cody just kind of came out of nowhere back. Like, and like when I went to SmackDown, like the pop for him was insane. Like, insane. I have never, and like, I remember when Cody Rhodes like was, you know, just starting out and like, you know, like I'd never heard him get a pop like that, even when like he was with his freaking dad. It was like, Dusty Rhodes. Like, it's crazy. Like, all of a sudden, it's like everyone's like all about him, and I'm like, when did that happen? It's like he just kind of like snuck back in out of nowhere with like this awesome theme music. I mean, his theme song is great, and like I'm like, everyone loves him, and I'm not mad at it. Like, I like Cody Rhodes. That's fine, but it just kind of almost felt like it came out of nowhere, and I'm like, is it just because they really love him, or are we all tired of Roman Reigns? Like, I don't know.
Well, and I've seen, oh man, I've seen this notion that he has to fight for it. And I'm like, does everyone forget he spent almost a year nursing an injury? Does everyone forget that he worked a match against Seth with a purple chest? Mm-hmm. Fight for it. Excuse me. I don't buy that. I think that is the tagline that we use ever since they put who used to be Daniel Bryan through chaos. That's we got to make him fight. No, we don't. This idea, Ash, that this babyface, this underdog, babyface has to be an underdog. Number one, why? Number two, to always be behind the 8 ball. No matter what happens, they just keep shoveling the crap on you, and it's your job to dig your way out. Well, why in the world would fans support anybody that can't win the big one? And people still love Cody. I get it. But this argument that people have also made that I've seen was that, well, Roman didn't beat him cleanly. Roman beats no one cleanly. What are we talking about? Like, I mean, you add up the number of times clean pin, no interference. The gauge here is that he uses his boys to win the matches. Right. And if that's the norm, then Cody would know that going in. And the Usos were soundly defeated the night before, but yet they're back and they're okay. And I'm like, what? We shouldn't even have seen them Sunday.
And so I will say, like, while I'm definitely ready for Roman to not be champ anymore, I have enjoyed the Bloodline storyline, like when Sammy was like the honorary Uso, and then like that whole thing. I hadn't been that invested in a WWE storyline in I don't know how long. So I say props to them for coming up with that, because I was so happy when Sammy turned on them. I was so happy when they put him with Kevin Owens, like all of that. Like I would have a Raw and SmackDown on the background a lot, and I would just be like, yeah, okay, whatever's happening. This, I was actually sitting down and watching it, and I'd be like, oh, it's Monday, okay, Raw, like whatever. I haven't felt like that in years. So I was like, cool, like you guys were doing something right. And I will say this about Cody. When I went to SmackDown, he stayed out like 45 minutes after the show ended, signing autographs and like talking to fans and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. Like, he just seems like a really genuinely nice guy. And like, he took the time to like, put on, they did a dark match after it went off the air between him and the Street Profits versus the Usos and Solo, I think. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at my phone. I don't remember. But him and the Street Profits were together, and they both the Street Profits and him hung around afterwards and stuff, which I thought was really cool.
Right. I mean, and that's what I've always heard about him, is that in person he's a good guy and he's a nice guy, and he's never really not been one of those guys to yell because someone's asking for an autograph, which that's another story. But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, and this is not along the same level, right? But like similar anyway, because when New Japan brought their show here to North Carolina, it's been a couple, 2-3 years ago. Juice Robinson was in the main event, and it's back when he still had the dreadlocks, and he worked the main event, and he stayed for 45 to an hour and went around the ring and shook every single hand that came out to him, and stopped for 100 selfies and was in no hurry. And I'm sure the guy had a plane to catch, but I'm like, that's how you make friends. That's how you make fans in this business. I love that. Right. I love those stories for sure. So I don't want to keep you all day. I probably kept you more time than you wanted to spend. I don't know. So if you got to split, I totally get it.
Yeah, I have like 10 more minutes, but I feel like I've talked about everything. I don't know if I have anything more interesting to say.
Oh, let me just tell you, man. They told me I had 10 minutes with Orton. I got 30. They told me I had about 10 to 15 with Kevin Smith. I got 25. No. Yeah. I milk it for all I can. So trust me. So I'm glad you're sticking around. Yeah. So I want to get to some of these comments right now. I hear your daughter in the background. By the way, kids, her daughter's precious. I'm telling you. Jeff says, I think like how Roman wins with the help, I think that help will turn on him, costing the title one day. And so one of the comments, Ash, was about Cody doesn't win, and we need to see the destruction of the bloodline and the net. What destroys the bloodline except Roman loses that belt? I mean, this idea that they have to turn on each other, Tom. No, they don't. He needs to lose that belt for them to then, because then he could point it back to them and say, where were you when I needed you? And then the infighting begins. Then it falls apart. But it's a chicken and egg thing, right? I mean, how do you handle that? Do you have them fall apart first, then he loses? Or if they fall apart because he loses?
Well, it already seems like they're kind of planting the seeds of destruction, I guess you should say, on Raw on Monday. Roman sent the Usos home, said, I don't need you here. Like, Paul Heyman came out and was like, he's not here, but really he just didn't want to talk to them. So, I mean, it seems like there's something kind of shady going on with the Usos and Paul Heyman and like that whole thing. So I don't know if that's the beginning of like the little seed of doubt being planted for them, or like what they're going to do with that.
And this CRP, kids, from the Wrestling Geeks Alliance podcast, great point. We heard rumors forever that Jay White was coming to WWE. Last minute, he signs with AEW. This is a great point, Chris. The possibility, perhaps, that Jay was going to have the slot. Cody doesn't win because of Jay. Jay slides in, whatever. That gets Cody busy for a while with the former Bullet Club leader, and Cody's got Bullet Club ties in his past. That makes a lot of sense. I would not be shocked if that's the case. So, all right. So we're talking about, and I missed the comment. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Keith says, have mixed feelings on the Cody issue. It would have made sense to have him win, but there needs to be some sort of resolution. That's what I was coming back to. So I introduced you as the Undertaker fan.
Yes.
Because I know you are. We've known each other for years, and I know you love Taker. You went to his live show. Tell the kids out there when this was and how it went.
So when SmackDown was in Vegas on I believe it was the 24th of March, I went to SmackDown, and then I jetted over to the Cosmopolitan, which was where Taker's show was. And I went to that by myself. So I was like really nervous because I was like, I don't know what I'm getting into, but it was a really small theater. And I was 8 rows away from the Undertaker. So I was losing it inside. I was trying to keep my cool and not look too much but it was really weird seeing him like a person. Obviously I know he's a person. When I was about 10, my dad had to sit me down and explain he's not really a person who buries people alive and stuff like he's an actual person. So but still, it was his birthday, and he brought the Godfather, because I guess they're besties in real life. So they were up there just doing shots of whiskey, and by the end of the night, Taker was a little tipsy, and so the Godfather definitely was. So it was really interesting to see him in a really relaxed atmosphere. I did not pay to do the shot of Jack because that's out of my tax bracket. I just paid for my ticket. And I got to be 8 rows back, and that was cool enough. So, he was really funny. And he seemed relaxed. I had read on Reddit that he was super stiff and it was going to be terrible, but I guess he had looked at feedback or whatever, because he was really relaxed. He told some really funny stories about when he got started in the business, how he went over to South Africa and what their crowds were over there versus ours. And, just, it was really funny. And he was, they took some questions from the audience, and there was a crazy mom there who had paid for a meet and greet, but she didn't show up on time. So she rushed the stage yelling about it. And so he kept his cool during that. And it was just a really fun night. He actually went an hour over what he was supposed to. So that was cool. And he did like a really nice tribute to like first responders, like police, military, and all that. And like it was really fun. Like I loved it. I thought it was really good. So if he does more shows like that, I think if you're an Undertaker fan, you should check it out. I think it was really like he's always reminded me of my dad. Especially seeing him in just like Dickies, like work pants, a t-shirt, work boots, and a backwards hat. Like that's basically what my dad's worn my whole life. And so that I got a little emotional because my dad's like sick with cancer and stuff like that. And so I wish he could have been there with me, but it would be too risky for him to have gone to like an event like that. So it was just really a great experience. I got into wrestling. I saw that Shane's comment. My dad. So my dad watched it, I guess. I don't know when my dad started. I just know that like he would put on the pay-per-views when I was like 3 and 4 years old. And at first I was like, whatever, I wasn't into it. And then they were coming to San Diego, that's where I'm from. And my dad's like, I'm going to take you and your sister. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to go. I mean, I was like 4, my attention span wasn't there. But I don't know, something at that live event, I remember seeing just the crowd and like the rest. I don't know, I got into it. And then like my dad was like, okay, like, see, you like it. And then we started, I was a girl, he's a guy, so we didn't have a lot in common as far as interests went. So it was like our thing. Like, as I got older, especially like during like Attitude era and all that, and like when Raw just like took off, it was like our thing, our common ground. We didn't have a lot to talk about. My dad doesn't talk a lot anyways, but we would always talk about what happened on Raw and what was going on with wrestling. And even when I became an adult and I moved out on my own, we would still get together and watch the pay-per-views together. And like, I'm awkward, my dad's awkward, and it's like I said, he doesn't talk a lot, so we'd just be sitting there in silence sometimes, and then it'd be like, well, did you see what John Cena did, or did you see like, so it kind of just always gave us that common ground. And like my first crush was on HBK, like back when he was with the Rockers, and like that was it was just like this constant that was always in my life. And I loved the Undertaker. That's how I found out wrestling wasn't real, when he got buried alive. And I was like beside myself, and my dad had to like tell me like, he's not dead. And I was like, yes, he is. And he's like, no, he's not. And he's like, it's pretend. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, just like you believe in, Santa and magic and Disney and all of that, it's just like that. He's like, I promise you he's fine. And like, I was like, okay, like I wasn't 100% convinced until I saw him, wrestle again. And I'm like, oh, but yeah, I just was kind of mesmerized by it. And like when my friends outgrew it, I just never did. So
I like the way you put that earlier, because and I've said before that like no matter what was going on with me in my life, like jobs came and went, girls came and went, things change.
mm-hmm.
You move to a different house. The one constant was always pro wrestling, always.
Yeah.
So like a lot of fans had the same story. I'm going to hit you with one more, and I'm going to let you go. All right. And this will only take you a second. That's all.
Okay.
In your opinion, how does this era of wrestling that we're in, because we hear some people claim this may be the best era because of the competition, because of so many companies that you can watch every week, live TV, whatever, streaming services. In your opinion, is this one of the best eras of all time, or do you have a favorite era? Is Attitude Era it for you? I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
I think the Attitude Era, like if they could bottle it and replicate it, I feel like any promotion would do it, right? Because it was just, when you go back and you watch, like, because I like to watch old episodes of Raw on Peacock, and just the crowd was so like hyped, like they looked like just like an angry mob, like it just was just like insane. And I don't know that they've been able to really replicate that since. I will say, as far as like having so many options for what you can watch, we are in a good place for that, right? Because like for a while it was WWE or nothing. I mean, like WCW was gone, and then it was like you had WWE. TNA wanted to be a contender, but personally I felt like they never were. I do think it has potential. I'm always going to be a WWE girl. I don't like change. I'm a creature of habit. I've always been like I've always watched WWE, so I feel like that's just where my comfort zone is, and I just feel like their product, even when it's stale, because I feel like the last couple of years it's been like not the best it could be. Like I said, I haven't been invested in any of the storylines. And I feel like they just kept trying to shove NXT people down your throat without them having a gimmick or a story that you could care about. And I feel like that's where WWE has always shined, is when they find that right gimmick, that right story for a wrestler. It's magic, right? The Undertaker. Like, even now, however many years later, like they play his music, people get chills. Like he's still the Undertaker. Like that was a great story that they told with him and that they let him tell. Then you have other times where it's like total misses. But I guess my point, what I'm trying to make is that I feel like WWE has struck lightning the most when it comes to finding the right story with the right performer at the right time, to make you care, to make you forget that what you're watching is like predetermined. Like you feel what they want you to feel and you get invested. I don't know that many other promotions have had that success so many times with with different characters, and I feel like that's what's always going to keep WWE as a contender in like being relevant, because I will like other promotions have more exciting things happen, more exciting matches, and sometimes even more exciting people that you would want to see, but they don't always have that little bit of magic that I think what drew me in as a kid and has kept me a fan. So I think that's why I'm a little biased. But I, like you said, I think it is turning into a really good time for wrestling fans, because you have options. You can, if you have preferences, that's fine. Some people they are not loyal to any specific promotion and just enjoy having that much wrestling on during the week that you can watch. So I guess that's that.
I think I fall into that category, honestly. I think that describes me. And plus, we know the company just sold this week, so we'll see how that impacts it moving forward.
Yeah.
I love that Triple H came out on live TV and said nothing's going to change. And I'm like, companies don't get acquired by other companies and not everyone keeps their job. It does not happen.
No.
It has never happened. It will not happen here. And
No.
it could be people sitting behind desks or working cameras, but not everyone's keeping their job. And that sucks. But, Triple H has come on TV before and said a lot of wackadoodle things to either poke at the fans or to poke at another company when there's no need to, and like, whatever. So anyway, all right. So I got to thank you again for hanging out today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I got to get you to come back very soon. You and I've got to do another 6M together, because I promised you one, and I'm going to deliver, because I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but I told you I would do it for you. So,
okay.
Let the people out there know if you have a social that you want to push, anywhere you'd like them to follow you. Let them know right now.
I mean, if you like memes and sarcasm and awkwardness, you could. I mean, my Instagram is at this girl goes keto. There's like space. What are those called? Not hyphens, but the one that's like the lower dash.
Underscore.
Underscore. Thank you. I was like, why can't I think of it? It's this underscore girl underscore goes underscore keto. It started off as like my like health page, and then it just turned into just where I just share funny memes and like what's going on in my life. But other than that, I mean, I don't write about wrestling anymore. I don't really do a whole lot. I'm not pimping myself on social media this much these days. So
what are you trying to say, Ash? Come on, let's spit it out.
You're the wrestling pimp master. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I just, I feel like nobody really cares what I have to say about that kind of stuff, because I mean, I feel like I'm a typical fan, right? I feel like what I think and what I don't feel like I bring any like revolutionary ideas to the table. How about that?
Well, I think the audience here would disagree with that, and I know they want to see you come back soon. So, thanks again. I'll be in touch. I appreciate your time, and listen, have a great Easter weekend.
You too. Thanks for having me. I'll see you later.
See ya. That was Ashley Tate, ladies and gentlemen, the artist formerly known as Double A. I could tell you some Bleacher Report stories of me and her back in the day. Trust me, because when we were there was some wackadoodle writers there who shall remain nameless, who maybe weren't that good. But I think she was there when I got there. I believe we may have started on that side at the same time. We told no bleacher stories. We'll have to do that at some point. All right, kids. We've got 13 minutes to go for this show. We've not covered every single match, so in case you were curious, let's run it down really quickly here. Austin Theory did defeat John Cena. I think we called that. Your boy did anyway. Still United States champion. Street Profits. Street Profits and defeated Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Alpha Academy, and the Viking Raiders in the Men's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Seth freaking Rollins did defeat Logan Paul as he should have. Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch defeated Damage Control in a 6-woman tag team match. Rey Mysterio did defeat his son Dominic by pinfall. Rhea Ripley did defeat Charlotte Flair for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Pat McAfee defeated the Miz, by pinfall in a quick match. And of course, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are your new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, having defeated the Usos. Night 2, Brock Lesnar defeated Omos. It was a serviceable match. Brock made this guy look like $1 million. $1 million. That's all I'll say about that. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defeated Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Natalya and Shotzi and Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Women's WrestleMania Showcase 4-way tag team match. Gunther, I hate saying that name, but I guess I'll say it, defeated Sheamus and Drew McIntyre to retain the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Bianca Belair retained the WWE Raw Women's Championship against Asuka, and I didn't see that coming, kids. I thought Asuka was taking that match 100%. Snoop Dogg defeated The Miz by pinfall. Great little deal. It was fun. I loved it. Edge defeated the Demon, Finn Balor. I think Finn's okay at this point, thank goodness. Heinous wound to the head. And, of course, as we all know, Roman Reigns defeated Cody by God Rhodes to retain the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship of the world, whatever they're calling it. So there you go. CRP, this is why I don't gauge predictions. I don't rank myself because I know in the past I've not been great at predictions. And this is supposed to be from a guy who's written about the business for how many years now? 10 plus years, I guess it's been, whatever it's been, and is in the business too. I mean, come on, right? But no, I usually my predictions in the moment at a live event. I'm much better at predicting what's going to happen next because it's in the moment. But like with the way some of these companies book, man, it's hard to figure any of this stuff out ahead of time. You know what I mean? -1 was at WrestleMania. Little Brody, I saw that. Wasn't that something? There for Cody, as he should have been. That was very cool. Let's talk about Super Card of Honor because we did talk about it. We previewed it last week. I just want to run down this card real quick. Jeff Cobb defeated Tracy Williams. Really, really solid match, as we knew it would be. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Willie Mack. Another solid. I love me some Willie Mack, dude. They got almost 9.5 minutes. Awesome. Willow Nightingale defeated Miranda Elise. 7 minutes in the singles match. Stu Grayson defeated Slim J. Another 7-minute match. El Hijo del Vikingo defeated Commander. 16 minutes these two guys got. One of the longest matches on the card, actually. The Embassy. Love that. 6-man tag team championship match. Of course, defeated AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metalik. Athena retained the ROH Women's World Championship. I thought that she would. Pretty good match. Samoa Joe defeated Mark Briscoe in a gut-wrenching finish that no one expected Mark to lose this match. So Joe retained the ROH World Television Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the legend, the ace, 1 in a million. All right, once in a generation, right? Generational talent. Defeated Daniel Garcia. 12 minutes for them. The Lucha Bros are your new ROH World Tag Team Championships in the Reach for the Sky ladder match. They defeated Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin. All the best to Dante and Martin. If you saw that injury, you'll only ever watch it one time. You'll never watch it again. I promise you. If you watch it more than once, there's something wrong with you. All the best to him. Speedy recovery to Dante. Also defeated the Kingdom and Le Faction and Gobernable again to become the new champions. Katsuyori Shibata, the legend, the wrestler, the man, defeated Wheeler Yuta in only 13 minutes. And then Claudio Castagnoli retained the ROH World Championship against Eddie Kingston, what was a pretty good main event match. So there's your ROH Super Card of Honor, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. Bam. There you go. So Sandy's birthday next Friday. Well, happy early birthday to you, my friend. If you're on if you watch the show next week, maybe they'll sing to you. I say they because I'm not singing I don't come cheap. I need money first. Okay. All right, kids. We've got about 8 minutes. We're going to wrap this thing up shortly. Let's open this floor wide open, baby. We're going to start our weekend in 8 minutes. So what you guys got? What you guys got? Hit me. Ray all day's waiting. He may have already sent the freaking thing. Rob. Who said Rob? I saw Rob Van Dam. Did I miss that somewhere? I could have sworn I just saw the word Rob. Where was it? Maybe I missed it. Maybe I saw. Maybe I didn't see it. All right. Ray says KRS-One or Nas. I'll go Nas. Beastie Boys or Cypress Hill? I got to go Beastie Boys, man. I like Cypress Hill a lot, but I love the Beastie Boys. If Adam Cole invited you and your family to an Easter brunch in which there was a big spread of flavored coffee and grits, could I have? Sure. And later he rented out a movie theater to see Creed 3. I love how inventive you are, Ray, all day. This is good stuff. Absolutely. I have not seen Creed 3, by the way. Is it any good? I think it's available video on demand pretty quickly. That's not suggesting it's a bad flick. Because didn't he direct it this time? Didn't he direct it? I don't think Ryan Coogler directed this one. Oh, I got choked up. Let's see. Robbie says the moment Mount Rushmore. Oh, you're killing me with this. Mount Rushmore of wrestling families whose head of the family has passed away. Oof. Yikes. Oh my God. I mean, the Hart family, I guess you could say. The Von Erichs, obviously. I mean, the NOI family, right? Dude, that's maybe, I don't know, maybe the Funks? I don't know. That's a tough one. Chad D-Bad said, did you see where Mark Briscoe told, yeah, that's the rumor, is that he told Tony Khan no more tag team matches. And that's cool. James says, dude, my dream trip is England. No kidding, because I'm a big Beatles fan, dude. You may have to put me up in a room so I have to pay for a hotel. I'd love to come to England. That would be great. Are you kidding me? So cool. How much fun would that be, man? CRP says the RH finish also plays in my Jay White didn't sign late until the weekend because I thought his spot for AW could have been costing Kingston. Nice. You know what? And what's cool is that things like that may not be found out till later. You could very well be right. You know what I mean? There's been stories, and I don't have one off the top of my head, but you guys know. There's stories like that in the past where it's like, so-and-so was supposed to have been whatever, but they couldn't get him or whatnot. And there's stories, but I can't think. It's Friday. It's going on 5 o'clock, and I'm tired. Tim, my God, the lowrider. Yes, the lowrider was cool. I didn't mean to ignore you. My apology. Yes, it was very cool. Yes, it was very cool. Jesse, all I can say is if Vince is hands-on, Godspeed WWE. Yeah, listen. If anybody thought Vince McMahon was gone for good, then I want you to go back to this show, this very show that you're watching now, when Vince supposedly stepped down, and look and see what I said. I said I would be shocked if he was gone for good. Okay? Go back and watch it. You'll find out what I said. I'm just saying, seems like he's back. It's his company. It's going to be his company till he's dead. And that's not trying to sound morbid. That's just how it is. Mario, what's going on, my man? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're doing well. Sandy, did you just throw it out there because you thought I saw someone say Rob Van Dam? What do you think Triple H is going to announce? I don't know. WrestleMania's going to be in London? I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. What else? CRP says the match to attract 80,000 to Wembley for AEW. It's a tall task. 100%. Dude, Tony Khan's going to line up that card. That card's going to be massive. I'll be honest with you. I think Okada will be on that card. If it's not a full crossover with New Japan, I bet it'll be close. I bet Okada's on the card. Who else? Punk, if Punk's back. Don't anybody be sneezing at that. I guess you can if you want to. Robbie says his is the Funks, Vonneguts, Armstrongs, and Rhodes. Well done on the Rhodes, yeah. I blanked on that one, didn't I? Tim says Chocolate Thunder or Moses Malone, tough 76ers of all. The toughest of all time is Allen Iverson. Talking about the team or the player? The player is Allen Iverson all day. All day. And I love Moses Malone and Daryl Dawkins. I do. But like, Chocolate Thunder's Daryl Dawkins, right? I think. Why am I thinking Daryl Dawkins had a different nickname? Am I wrong? Yeah. Yeah, Allen Iverson, toughest Sixer of all time. I'm sorry. It's the truth. And he's one of the toughest players of all time, too. If I send you a picture of something, sure. Why not? You mean on the show now? Because you got 2 minutes, brother. Or are you talking about just later and just share them to you? Because I can do that. Let me know. Let me know. Chad Too Bad says you're awesome. Top 4 tag teams at this very time. All promotions count. You got to say the Usos. You got to say the Young Bucks. Got to say FTR. I'll say New Day. You can laugh at that if you want to, I guess. By the way, can we give the Guns a shout out for that great interest they had at Supercard or at Dynamite this past Wednesday? Coming out to a 50 Cent. Such a great moment for them. I love that. They need that entrance every time. Listen, they're a young tag team. They're a goofy tag team because of their gimmick or whatnot. But listen, they're the future. Anytime you've got younger guys, they're the future of the company, right? I thought that was a very, very cool moment for them. Very cool. JD, how you doing, man? Good to see you. My kid is fine, Ray. He's at home right now. I'm heading out of town shortly. Going to have dinner with my cousin who I haven't seen and hung out with in forever. So that'll be cool. So Ron, give me a sec while I open this message. And you better not send me anything terrible. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. What do I think about it? WWE versus WWE SummerSlam. Interesting. Detroit, Michigan, Ford Field. WWE versus WWE. I don't know. Unless they're talking about Raw versus SmackDown. Why would they do that crap again? It never works because they mix all the time, right? Vic says rumors are by Switchblade signed with AEW's forcing WWE. No one's forced to sign anybody, Vic. Don't believe everything you hear, to be honest with you. I wouldn't believe it. Having said that, I love Nick Aldis. You guys know that. That dude wished me a happy 200. Truth. I love me some Nick Aldis. You kidding me? Kidding me? Right, Jay? Are you right? Yeah, right? Awesome entrance. Oh, I think it's Vince versus Triple H for control. Oh, God, I don't want to see that. You know why? Because it puts Vince back on TV all the time. All the time. Tim, you're awesome because you know I'm a Beatles guy. Top Beatles songs of all time. My favorite Beatles song of all time is gonna blow you away. It's a deep cut, sort of. Hey Bulldog is my favorite Beatles song of all time. I love that song so much. It's like the greatest. Every time I hear it, I got to turn up. I freaking love it so much. I'm a big Beatles guy. I mean, you have to say Hey Jude. You have to say Let It Be. You have to say Strawberry Fields. You have to say Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. You have to say Penny Lane. I really like. Got to throw Georgia's stuff in there too. Because is a great song. Come Together, classic. Dude, I mean, how do you pick favorite? How do you pick favorite? Are you kidding me? Kidding me? CRP says, I love Paperback Rider. Paperback Rider with the same rhythm as from Nazareth. What's the name of the song? Same rhythm, same beat, same pattern. Same pattern as the Nazareth song. Give me the title, Chris. You know the song. I can't remember the name of it. Hair of the Dog. Hair of the Dog. Same pattern. Truth. And don't quote me. Chris, you may know this. Didn't Nazareth do that at a tribute to the Beatles, like the same pattern? Hair of the Dog, I think. Brino shows up at the end of the show. Are you kidding me? Brino, I went live at 4 today, my friend. I did announce it twice on the Facebook. So yeah, Brino got the last comment. Brino, throw me a great comment out there, and I'll put you'll get the last word on my show today. Give me something good. The Brino Loves You is awesome. You're going to be hard pressed to top that, but give me something good. Tell me something good. Come on, Brino. Don't let me down. I'll just sing to you. How about that? That'll be fun. That'll be fun too. Get the dogs in the neighborhood woke up, man. Oh, dude. Listen, Chris. Go listen to Hair of the Dog and then listen to Paper. It's the same rhythm. It's the same pattern. Yeah. Same pattern. Same rhythm. Good night, Sandy. Good to see you, my friend. Chris says, did I get your what, Chris? What did I miss? I must have missed it, Chris. I apologize if I missed your comment. My apologies. Yep, Vic. Yep, we talked about Drew maybe going to AEW. All right, kids. Well, guess what? I got to get on out of here. I got places to go and things to do. So I'm going to split. I wanted to tell everybody here, thank you very much for hanging out. Thanks as always. Oh, hold on, Brino. I promised you. If Brino and Adam Cole wrestled in the same town in different promotion, would you break Ray Dean's heart by coming to see Brino instead? Ray's my boy, Brino. You're my boy too, but Ray's my boy. I'm telling you, it's hard to. Ray's got my back. I know you got my back too. I like. We can make a great 6-man. Okay. Ray gonna take all the heat. Ray, you get to take all the heat, brother. I'm not doing it. I'm too old for that crap. That's tough. That's tough, man. That's tough. Anyways. All right. That's it. That's it for real. I'm getting out of here. I got to split. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Should be back next week. I don't foresee any issues happening, but as always, if anything comes up, I'll let you guys know. Thanks, as always, for being here for us. Remember to subscribe to Tom Clark 6M Podcast, movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more on all the major platforms. Subscribe to the main event on all the major platforms. It's available in audio version. The video you can only find here and on the YouTube, okay? Because the podcast is usually all audio. So there you have it. My 2 shows, possibly a third. I've been talking about, me and Brino kind of teased it in a small little chat, and I ran it by him, and he loved it. I don't know if I got the time to do it, but I'd love to do it. It'd be great. It'd be fun. I don't know. We'll see. That's all I got, kids. Thanks again for hanging out. I'll see you next time. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a happy and safe holiday weekend, all right? Eat a bunch of ham. That's what we here in the States do, kids. Eat a bunch of ham on Sunday. That's all I got for you. I'll see you next time. Thanks, kids. Have a great one. Tom Clark's main event. Good night, Facebook.